Namaskar and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 27 of the BW Hotelier, the GM show. Today, Thursday, November 30, we have a wonderful set of speakers lined up today. They're brilliant general managers, and this is also our third show in Goa. And any show in Goa is actually nice. It's so aspirational to be in Goa. Well, let us venture out virtually today. The subject of the show today is behind the scenes operational aspect for general managers in Goa. Before I go further ahead, let me introduce my partner to the series, Diversey. So quick mandatories here. We are here every Thursday and Friday. The series goes on. We're soon going to cross the 30 episodes milestone. The series is pretty interesting. 4 to 5 p.m. every Thursday and Friday. We meet some of the finance general managers and discuss topics which are both current and very important for our industry in India and South Asia. I'm sure you've watched all our episodes. Just in case you miss watching them live, the recordings are there on bwhotelier.com and our social media platforms. Without much ado, let me straight away get on with the show and bring in our first star today, Ashwani Anand. Ashwani Anand is the general manager of the Taj Cidade, Goa. Welcome to the show, Ashwani.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Glad to be here in the GM show. Thank you very much.
Delighted, Ashwani. Thank you for being here. Next in is Ricardo de Lima. He's the cluster general manager for Goa and the West Coast region for Fortune Hotels, and of course the general manager for the Fortune Miramar, Goa.
Thank you, Bhuvi, for having me on the show.
Delighted. Thank you for gracing our show, Ricardo. Next in is Surajit Chatterjee. He's the general manager of the Holiday Inn Goa, Candolim. Welcome to the show, Surajit.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. Good afternoon, everyone. Delighted to be here.
Pleasure, pleasure. Next in is Dennis DeCosta, who's the general manager of the Novotel Goa, Dona, Sylvia Resort. Welcome to the show, Dennis.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show. Lovely to be with the other panelists as well.
Thank you so much for being here, Dennis. Last but not the least, we have Vishal Pathak, who's the corporate general manager for the Radisson Blue Resort Goa, Cavelossim Beach.
Hi, Bhuvanesh. Thank you so much for having me as part of the show.
Welcome to the show. Just switch on your camera, Vishal. There you are. Good to see you. Thank you for being there, gentlemen. Thank you for gracing our platform. You enrich our show. A little bit on the episode today. In this episode, we are diving into the heart of hospitality in the so very enchanting Goa. Good to have you join an exclusive behind-the-scenes exploration as we unravel the operational intricacies faced by general managers in this vibrant and coastal paradise. Look, Goa is nice to be in. Get behind the shirt and jacket of a general manager. You'll realize the product that they finally give to you takes a lot. Takes a lot. They are on the sea, they are on the beach, and it's not very easy. But they put on their best act 24/7. Like I always say, general management is a brilliant job, but not easy, right? It calls on tough ladies and tough men to make for a very successful hotel and general manager. Now, let me get in straight with you, Ashwani, if I may. Ashwani, tell me, staffing is extremely critical for your industry. You're as good as the people you have. Let's talk about staffing strategies. And if you can explore the intricacies of staffing from recruitment to training and how it shapes the day-to-day dynamics of your hotel's operations.
I can start.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. I feel hospitality, as most of us will agree, is all about people, people, and people. And that remains the largest challenge for all of us. I think it's not only in Goa, but you go to any other cities. In fact, I've had a recent travel to a couple of countries. There also, I felt from a hotelier's point of view, if you see that hotel or restaurant, I think our challenges are kind of global post-pandemic. It's just not changing. But yes, we have to go on. We are all people with the strength. So we go on again to the market, we go for the recruitment. And among these people, the most important factor we look for is a positive and service attitude. So this attitude is to be identified in the people. And then I believe everyone, as per their own organizational policies and needs, probably look into what kind of candidates we need for our certain jobs. For example, I'll take my own case. So when we recruit, we look into things like, like skill development commitments we have, either to the government or to the society. We look into gender ratios, how to maintain that. We look into certain initiatives like second careers to certain women who are taking a sabbatical for XYZ reasons, either because of family or because of other needs. Somebody wants to study, go abroad. So we look into all these things, and also not forgetting, we also focus on people with disabilities. So I think that inclusiveness that we have, and that is there now in almost all the industries are working towards it. So that plays a very, very important role if you look at the overall umbrella of our recruitment process. So after that, of course, everybody goes through interviews. We go to colleges, we try to catch people young so that they can be easily molded. And also there is an emphasis to make sure that we kind of nurture the local talent. Post that, we have a very, I think that's important for everyone to have a very robust induction process, so that it's just like a marriage. The first few days is extremely important, whether they create an impression about your organization as a preferred employer, or as most of the surveys will tell you, the people who leave you are the ones who leave you in for 6 months to 1 year's time. So we don't do that because recruitment is a very, very expensive process nowadays. And specifically for stations like Goa, we had to get people from outside. We have problems with expensive accommodation here, so especially for the ladies part. So I think all these matters make it extremely important that our interaction with the employees, right from pre-recruitment to post-recruitment and to the initiation of the training, should be a very pleasant experience for the person, so that he looks at you as a preferred employer. I think salary comes a little later in this requirement here. So we look into induction, we look into skill trainings after that, so that the person is able to fit into your setup, your desired standards to be delivered in that. And I think what is very important is that, especially for the shop floor interaction, which is there with our associates who are directly interacting with the guests. So these policies, procedures, and all, they need to be very deeply drilled down in them. Of course, besides the courtesies and other things, because sometimes you get very, very raw talent. So I think the robust L&D department in every hotel and having certain trainees also play a very, very important role for first year of forming any employee from employer point of view also, and from the employee point of view as well. So this mostly goes at associate levels, but for senior management, of course, there is a lot more hand holding. We have to do a lot of, inductions for them, a lot of exposures for them to the corporate offices, to even to our Tata offices, uh, where the guy get actually ready for what a real employee of the organization is required. I'm sure that is so in a lot of other companies also, which I learned from some of our friends who have been working in other companies. So I think this process has also become very, very robust now all over. And guest interaction is something which, kind of makes your organization from a customer point of view very, very positive. And this is one aspect we very, very strongly, put our emphasis upon. And more than that, of course, a business acumen, a budget so-called for the manpower is something always at the back of mind of all general managers. You can't overshoot, you can't undergo. And of course, the policies which are there, we should be very just and, should be equal to all, so that the feeling of somebody, losing out on any kind of perks or any kind of facility should not be felt by the employees. So I think these couple of things under a broad umbrella are something extremely important when we look into our staffing strategies, or we look into our management of the back areas with the staff. Thank you.
Excellent. Manpower is the backbone of any organization, more so for hospitality, where the attrition rates are a little higher than other industries. So it's not just, and also when you come to India, the general expectancy is of a higher level of service, right?
Right.
So, and when you're in Goa, it's like being in other countries which are completely dependent upon travel, tourism, and hospitality, like Thailand, Maldives, Sri Lanka. The local people are, not that the others are not, the local people have upped their game of hospitality and how they will interface. So I guess Goa already has it going there, and Goa is anyway top of pyramid as a location, along with Rajasthan and perhaps Kerala on the global charts. So the demands are only natural, and good thing is that Goa is more than measuring up. So yeah.
Also, if I may add a couple of lines on this, is even the pure leisure hotels that we have, they are also getting a small element of the business, which is corporate and the MICE kind of things. So they want them to develop that kind of facilities also. So certain hotels are coming up with temporary halls and all that. So I think that is going to be the way forward, and a newer challenges for our hotels in Goa.
And also the fact that development is in high gear, so you're getting new properties. Yes. And so they all need talent. And the pipeline is not really as good as one would expect, but yes, we are getting there. All right. Thank you so much, Ashwani. Ricardo, if I may spring across to you. So tell me, we've spoken about, staffing strategies. Let's get into the area of strategic partnerships, if I may, and discuss the importance of operational flexibility in the face of unforeseen challenges and the strategies employed to maintain service standards. Going by what I had asked, Ashwani, there is a certain threshold of service levels.
Yeah. So when it comes to strategic partnership, I feel that the level of expectation in Goa is always to be, yes, a bit of casualness, but people want that flair also to come in, right? Keeping in mind the kind of audience that we get, the tourists that come in from international markets and from other markets. I think there is a demand for that. In some of the hotels that we've had to deal with, and the business that we've had in the last year that we've seen, there's been so many big events that have been happening in Goa, and people are expecting a certain level of service, a certain level of standard, whether it comes to food, whether it comes to beverage, whether it comes to the decor, events, and things like that. So, and I think Goa as a market has been able to live up to that, because we've got wonderful chefs working. Now the talent I think there's a lot of talent in Goa. And as a market, we're able to get that talent. We're able to use them across our hotels to benefit customers at the end of the day. So yes, it is available. It's being used. We've hosted wonderful events. The G20, Goa had an opportunity to host 7 to 8 of that. Some of our hotels were part of it, both in the city and in the south. The national games just got over. We did catering for national games. We had athletes staying with us. We had chef the managers staying with us. The government representatives staying with us. So there was a lot of expectations from them as well. And both from an hotel perspective and as a state perspective, I think Goa was gracious hosts. Everybody went happy. There are a lot of big events also that happen in Goa on a yearly basis. One being Ironman, which has happened for the third year this year. That also successfully happened. We catered for the Ironman event. More than 3,200 athletes spread over breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And their requirements being athletes, high carb. They can't wait for their food. They come tired. They want their food immediately. So that was something that we did. Another event that now has an MOU signed with the government of Goa is the Serendipity Heart Festival that's been happening 5 years in the past, and they've got another 5 years signed up with the government. So as a brand, we've done pop-up restaurants with them. We've catered for their artists. And these are artists from all over India who come in and showcase their talent, whether it's art, culture, and other things. So we've been able to do that. We've been able to effectively showcase Goa as a state, showcase the international flair that the talent in Goa is able to put up. And I think it's been very successful.
So, yeah, doing it all alone is not the preferred route, not the suggested route, if I may say. So strategic partnerships actually help you to leapfrog.
Yes.
Well, now let me come into you, Surajit, if I may. All right, let's, staying with operations, we've just come out of partnerships, people. Let's talk about operations, and the flexibility in operations. If you can tell us about the importance of operational flexibility in the face of unforeseen challenges and the strategies employed to maintain service standards.
Great. Thank you, Bhuvanesh, once again, and good afternoon, everybody. So yes, being in North Goa in a hotel in Candolim, we have a lot of challenges in terms of definitely heart of house. If we say manpower is one big challenge for us, and specifically breakfast timings are extremely busy. So how we operate as a hotel is we are very flexible with our team members. First and foremost, we are the only hotel with giving 8 weekly offs. So that makes a lot of a difference, and that has taken down the attrition level of the hotel. And the other thing what we do is breakfast is very, very busy for us, as I said. And we have all the HODs as a helping hand during breakfast. And since we have made this a practice in last 6 to 7 months, they are all aware about their own duties and timings. So every day we are very flexible about our morning meetings as well. So depending upon the occupancy, we schedule our morning meeting a day prior, and we are all there to help. Looking at the operations, the training manager is on the floor, taking out points and understanding exactly what we need to do. So cross training is one very, very important aspect. So she takes out the points, and we have a cross training between front office and housekeeping and F&B, kitchen, and also a little bit into finance and HR. So we have a few team members in every department who are cross-trained, and also they are given a training program and a JD of a different department, and say that if they want to become, say somebody wants to shift from housekeeping to a front desk, and we shift them from a supervisor level to an executive level. So they are given a JD and they talk to guests, and we tell them where they are lacking and where they are good at. And that's what is being balanced, and they are given a timeline between 3 months to 6 months. What we also do is we have two different buildings in the hotel. So when the occupancy is low, we manage in one building, and we take out weekly offs for the team members. So that's very flexible because we give 8 offs. We have to manage those 8 offs. So we work in tandem with engineering and housekeeping and front desk to ensure that we operate in a way that our costs are managed as well as our team members are happy, and we operate in one building. So that is one thing. We also do flexible meetings with our HODs. We don't do it in a closed room every day. We give them a guest experience, something like that, which has become very common in other hotels also and other brands as well. We go in a boardroom and sit down on, something like a bean bags and do our discussions every week, once in a week. Or we go and sit down in the poolside in the garden, have a cup of chai and discuss the points which are serious. We also do skip level meetings to ensure that the team is bounded, and the number twos and number threes are there, and they understand, because when the HODs are not there, we are flexible enough to give them empowerment and let them do their job as well. Especially with operational departments like front office, housekeeping, F&B, kitchen, engineering at times. Housekeeping staff also we have trained to do some kind of engineering work, like if the TV remote is not working or the windows are not shut and the AC is not working. So small touch points which are very, very, well trained to the team, and they take care of these things. We have a challenge with manning in this part of the country, definitely. Post the salaries are given, people, of course, leave out. But as I said, if you be flexible with people, take care of their weekly offs and other things, then it manages well. So we ensure that we do training very vigorously. We are flexible with their offs whenever they want. We never say no to them. But yes, we have shown them a path, and we tell them that, okay, this is what we need to do, and this is where we look at you to perform and grow it with our brand. We also do a lot of cross exposure training within our different hotels, like operations manager goes to another hotel to learn under a GM. So these are very important. Plus, we have management trainees who do cross-training exposure in other parts of the hotel. So I think we are very flexible with our team members, and that's the need of the hour. Give them what they want and take them into confidence and understand their needs as well as what is the need of the guest, so that we are, balance both the sides.
So this is good, Surajit. It actually develops well-rounded, not just develops well-rounded professionals, it also builds a good and strong second line,
Right.
which you can lean on and also take them into, years ago, we all started like that.
Right. Just to give an example,
We must give to them what we expected when we were in their place.
Right. So my operations manager was away for 3 months to holiday in Kolkata, and a new city for him. He's being trained as a GM, and I was handling the hotel alone here. And he also looks over my rooms division. So I said, you go ahead and learn the job and come back and, introduce some new things and learn new things. And then you are ready for a GM after 6 months or 8 months, right? So we are very flexible in that. It doesn't mean that, for 3 months in a busy season like Diwali, Dussehra, you recruit another rooms division manager. But being flexible, take over one step and, give a chance to the AFOM or FOM to build in that position later on.
All right. So this is so heartening. Dennis, our first question with you, right? So, at the heart of any general manager or hotel is guests and guest experiences, right? A happy guest is a brilliant advertisement, is a great word of mouth, better than any social media or anything. So let me pick on your mind on guest experience management. And if you can tell us about the strategies for ensuring a seamless and unforgettable guest experience? And if you can also emphasize on a certain level of personalized services.
Sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, for all of us know that it's such a very critical part of our role in the hospitality industry that we provide excellent guest experience to our guests. And any guest who's coming to our resorts or our hotels of our nature expect to go back with some fantastic memories, which most of us try to do. It starts also from the beginning, from the time of booking to the time of arrival, and see how we can create a very seamless experience for the guests, and how we actually involve a lot of technology to help us in aiding such a seamless experience. And that's many hotels have done in trying to get pre-arrival details and how to incorporate that when the guest comes in, and ensure that even their check-in process is not too long. People are using technology where people are so dependent on technology that even we are even looking and seeing how you can check in from your own phone, and smartphone is becoming so important even in the hospitality industry. And therefore technology and the guest experience go hand in hand. So that's very critical in terms of one of the experiences that we are working on. I think it goes without saying that that we have to create memories for guests, and especially in resorts. I think a lot of people, wait for going on a vacation, and it's not just about coming to a destination; it's also about creating memories. And what we try to do in our resorts here is to try and create those memories by creating opportunities for guests when they visit our resorts. So some of the things that we do is also offer guests to go to the local fish market and then come back and pick up some of the fresh produce, and our chef cooks it for them. So that we also send our guests to Goa is blessed with some old Portuguese homes. So we even tie up with certain companies who specialize in these kind of events, and then we take them to a nice house, and they get an opportunity to interact with the local people as well as enjoy the local cuisine and understand a little bit more of the history of Goa, so to speak. We also go in South Goa. We have a Feni distillery. You have all these options of taking these our guests to there, and that these are indeed those memories which they go back with, and this is something that lasts forever. So that's something that we focus on. We also focus on food becomes a very important part of a guest experience. So how do we personalize that? How do we curate special experiences for guests? Our chefs, our guest experience teams, all actively involved with guests. We even create experiences where the families can get together and do a barbecue, and they themselves also get involved in this particular activity. They can use the beach as an activity for them to do some kind of a picnic, which is just where we are. So these are all those personalized experiences that we work with. We also feel that with so much of travel happening and people becoming very sensitive towards environment, we also need to be looking at the sustainability option as well. And many guests are looking at that also when they are part of the experiences that they have. And so whether it is you're going to go into single-use banning of single-use plastic or anything that is more environment friendly, also has a great impact on a guest experience. While we do a lot for the FIT segment, I think another very important segment which is now growing in Goa is the wedding segment, and therefore we ourselves are learning as we go. We've done so much in terms of experiences, especially because we cater to different types of communities. We've also personalized food based on the communities that come to our resorts, whether it's Marwadi or the uniqueness of doing a Parsi wedding in our hotel, or even a South Indian sadhya. And we ensure that we go into that detailing with our guests. We sit down with them to ensure that what they want is delivered, and to ensure that their experiences are also on expected lines. So these are few things that we do, and we continue to work together with and adapt to the changing times to ensure that guest experiences continue to be a focus of our day-to-day operations.
Thank you so much, Dennis. Yeah, it has to come from within, handling of guests and
Sure.
how to go about it. So, and it must come naturally to somebody who's a successful hotelier or wants to be a successful hotelier.
True.
So, Vishal, I'd really like to pick on a very important part of a general manager's armor, which is about coastal dynamics and how do you manage hotels by the sea. Uh, you know, uh, this comes with itself a whole lot of challenges. If you can talk to me about the operational intricacies associated with coastal properties.
Yes, well, I mean, that's so true because a property located by the sea faces many challenges which are over and above the normal issues faced by any hotel in a landlocked city, for example. And if we see some of the main ones, of course, being the environmental concerns and the regulatory compliances. Most and they're most critical because they must be followed. We all know that there are strict CRZ rules that basically define the development, coastal development, and the building norms, around the coast. And it is very important that we ensure that we follow these to protect basically the environment and, of course, the serenity of our beaches and the sea. Because being located on the beach is in itself a USP for us. So it is important to have a clean beach, a sea that is free of any plastic or any floating debris. So here at the Radisson Cavelossim and also at our new property in Mandrem, which is Mandrem Beach Resort, a member of the Radisson individual retreats, at both these properties. And interestingly, at Mandre, we have our property located in between two water bodies. On one side, we have the sea, and the other side, we have a river. So at both these locations, we work very closely with the residents, local residents, to ensure that the beach is cleaned regularly. No unwanted refuse is disposed of in the natural environment by any stakeholder, not just the hotels, but also the residents, living in the vicinity. At our hotels, we reuse all of our wastewater in our gardens. We also have a biodigester that converts 100% of our wet waste into biogas and manure, which of course is used in our kitchens and gardens respectively. So we involve the team in basically cleaning and making sure the environment is protected by the sea. The other factor, weather, of course, is another factor that is crucial while keeping in mind the operations of a hotel by the sea, particularly in the monsoon. I'm sure you would have experienced Goa in monsoon is truly magical in my opinion, but that's only possible if operationally we are well planned for it, because the buildings get a heavy lashing of the rain. So we have to make sure that the building is protected. We have to make sure that there are no leakages that develop, because most of the architecture is such that we use the Mangalore tiles. And also another important factor is being a spread out property. Most of the properties are spread out. The seamless movement of guests because of the weather conditions. We have to also ensure that all our guests are offered enough experiences to keep them engaged when they are confined indoors. So we have our activity centers for young adults. We've got a separate area for toddlers, a health club with a spa, gymnasium. And at our hotel in South, in Cavelossim, we have the Copacabana, our lounge, which features some of the best Indian bands and DJs performing live every day. So those are the things, and of course, the most important factor is the salt water corrosion that happens
True.
in the coastlines, any property by the coast. For this, I think it is most important to be careful while selecting the material at the inception stage of the property. Because over a period of time, the maintenance and upkeep of the property requires to be we have to be very proactive while doing that. And it is essential to reinvest a certain percentage of the turnover back into the preventive maintenance, because otherwise, because the deterioration is so much faster than any of the other locations. So yeah, I think these are the critical things that we need to keep in mind while operating a hotel by the sea as against any other location.
Yep, operating a hotel by the sea is as good as operating a ship in the high seas.
Absolutely.
Salt water, moisture, and doesn't spare anybody. Yeah, so good. Thanks, Vishal. Thanks for that input. So I'll just take a small break of a few seconds, gentlemen, if you don't mind. We've come to the mid of the show. Thank you, Diversey, and thank you, gentlemen. We've had a good first session. You know, when we get on to shows, we do not get into the operational aspects of running hotels in tough locations. All right, all locations are tough, but tougher are the ones which are on the sea, right, which are extremely demanding. And so thanks to all your capabilities, all your experience for letting the hotels shine and be in good shape each day. Ashwani, if I may come back to you, let's talk about management of luxury properties, and if you can talk to us about the unique challenges of overseeing luxury hotels in Goa, where opulence meets coastal charm.
Thank you again. I think before we talk about managing luxury hotels, for any unit, I think it's extremely important first to define luxury. And the moment you get into defining luxury, I think the universe is small. Every aspect in a hotel, somebody or the other will have a different opinion. So it is very important for any hotel to actually set a limitation as to what we are offering. And I think the limiting factors, which can be one, of course, is your location. And secondly, is your customer. So the demands of the customer and your location will define to a great extent as to what kind of luxury we are going to offer in terms of experiences, and also in terms to a great extent to the products also. And then comes to the soft factor of the manpower, as we discussed. In my opinion, in my experience, though it's a bit debatable, but when it comes to managing luxury, you must have people in your system who have exposure to the luxury hotels, because it is very difficult to inculcate that sense of luxury in everyone. So if you have an exposure, or you have a staff which is exposed to so-called our luxury hotels who are offering you very high-end experiences, who are offering you very high-end products, that is something which will always help you. So whether it is at the leadership levels or HOD levels, or maybe if you're lucky, we get some staff also who have worked in larger hotels, so that they can bring in their experiences. And it will be much easier for us to offer what is the latest and what is trending in our hotels, in luxury hotels on that particular time. But this doesn't come easy to us. One factor which we must define is that we must have brand standards for us. So what are our brand standards for a luxury resort in Goa, or a luxury city hotel, or a luxury, MICE hotels that we want to define? So I think all these factors had to be taken into account before we, jump into the sea of luxury. Otherwise, we will not reach anywhere. And every aspect in a room, right from your soap to your amenities to your towel, thickness of the bed sheet, the absorbability of the towels, everything is, defined by luxury. So I think it's very important that we focus on our brand standards, which could be minimum. You might have kind of a freedom to update them regularly or to update them whenever new versions are available. So that flexibility is also important. So this is something which is, I think, is the baseline when we talk about managing luxury in a hotel. Then you must have a very unwavering commitment, I must say, to giving our customers absolutely defect-free products and services. We must look into perfection, because perfection also demands a lot of eye for detail and a lot of commitment that whatever I'm doing is going to be a very, very different, very unique offering for my customers. We look at novelty. And as Dennis said, experiences for the customers are extremely important, because product you can offer, best of the staff you can present, but then the experiences is something which leaves very deep and lifelong memories for anybody for your hotel. More than that, of course, training is important, hygiene is important. Nowadays, safety has become extremely important. So all these things also go hand in hand with luxury. You can't have a super luxury hotel, but it's not safe for our customers. So every level needs to go to its next level, so that we are offering an absolutely unique offering, which is called a luxury offering in our hotels. I will say more challenges, which in my experiences have been recently, of course, as most of people on the panel has said, is the manpower that we are all struggling with, the trained manpower and the skilled manpower to give that upgraded experience. But that is possible to attain only by training and retraining. There's nothing else. I don't think nobody's going to, the staff is not going to fall from sky for us. So that is an initiative we have to do ourselves. And it's a tough one. I must say, again, you need to spend money. Luxury doesn't come easy. It is expensive for the customer and it is expensive for the hotel. So commitment to spend money also is important, whether it is on staff, whether it's on products, or getting new experiences for our customers, because the whole world is doing it. So we cannot show that we are cutting corners, but we are giving you luxury with, all the corners cut off. So it doesn't work. So we had to be generous with a larger heart. And true Indian hospitality traditions, I think, are based on opulence, are based on generosity. So that is something which must, even if you're not doing it to a great extent, because we have to have our budgets in our hand. But I think our exposure should be such that it looks absolutely opulent to the customer. Beside this, in Goa, in my opinion and my experience, I think we need to have a little better beach management. So whether it is safety, whether it is cleanliness, that is one area. I think if we make a commitment to ourselves that beaches near my hotel will be clean, I think we'll be doing a great service to the state here. And then also certain more experiences that the government of Goa is also focusing on developing experiences which is outside or away from the beaches. So whether they are karmas or whether they are homestays or whether they are tents, they want to create certain experiences which are slightly away from, because Goa, though you come, but after 3, 4, 5 days, we need to offer something which is different to our customer besides beaches. So that also remains a challenge for us when it comes to giving really high-end experiences in Goa. What I think also I must say in the same breath is that what we must maintain very strongly is our food capital status in the country. We have absolutely wonderful restaurants here, wonderful offerings, and they come in a very, very wonderful environment, whether these are shacks or whether these are newer restaurants with new themes. And Another good factor that we have is that Susegado spirit of Goa. A lot of people say that, okay, we need to be more professional, we need to be more. But I think the moment people land at the airport, a big lot goes to the toilet to get into the shots. So that spirit also we must maintain, whether we are a luxury property or we are a normal small hotel next door. But that feeling of coming to Goa is something which is magical. I felt it when I was here after 2-3 months. Initially, I thought, why people come to Goa? And, kind of 3-4 days, how many beaches will you see? But I think there's a vibe in the air. It stills your soul when you are on a beach. So I think that feeling must be really worked upon, and all of us as hoteliers must look into that. And thirdly, which we have to maintain is, I think, live with the musical experiences in Goa, which are also very, very unique. And these two, three things I think we must emphasize, we must work on. And the challenges, as I spelled already, are common to all, not only meant for, I'll say, specifically to Goa. Of course, there are challenges for running a hotel, but managing luxury, I think, if you're willing to spend money and you got the right kind of product, then the experiences that you'll be offered will be absolutely world class. And our destination will be the most preferred destination in the world. That's what I think all of us should aim as hoteliers for Goa.
True.
Thank you.
And also, luxury is not just about the spellings Luxury, but luxury is a sum total of all our efforts, and is a reproduction of what is actually there in our mind. So, yes, we have to up our act, and also, it also is about brand India, and not just your own brand, and not just brand Goa. So, yes, we have to up our act each day, and we have to measure up. So great. Thank you so much, Ashwani. That was a great response. Ricardo, we've just come through horrific times, which I don't want ever to think about or go back. But let's talk about, these pandemic kind of preparedness. And what are the lessons which we've learned from managing operations during pandemic, and how these insights can contribute to the future of crisis management?
Thanks, Bhu. So during the pandemic, we learned that trends were rapidly changing, right? And we had to respond to this. Rules were being rewritten, mindsets had to change, standardization can no longer be adhered to. We had to relook and rethink. And I think the pandemic, it's fair to say, it's reshaped the industry in the ways never before, never imagined. We required a shift in marketing strategies and willingness to explore outside of our comfort zone, right? And the outcome of this was we became resilient and agile. I would say everybody looked to Goa because we became the holiday capital of India. We made the best of revenge tourism. And I think all of us in this panel and many more who have been in Goa, who are in Goa, have capitalized on that. Goa turned the tide right after the first wave. We even hosted events, whether it was partially online or offline, like IFFI happened just after the first wave in Goa. So in that way, we were very agile to adapt, to ensure that there was safety, security, precautions taken, but it was a place that you wanted to be in. So that was one. The other thing would be employee wellness, experience, so training. That's another thing. I think today the keywords that we use, multitasking, upskilling, training, retraining, that's something that we've started, if not already done, I think we're investing more into. We're relooking at remunerations because, like everybody said, it's hard to get manpower. And when you get them, you want to keep them, right? And if you're doing good business, then it's only fair that you give back to them also. So remuneration is something that is being relooked at. We're investing more into employee engagement, taking care of their well-being, taking care of their welfare, counseling, grievance handling. These are things that's happening more, I think, after COVID. Training has gone online, if it was not already. I think a lot of training now is happening online. Two of my colleagues on the call spoke about selling experiences. Yeah, today we are not just selling a product, we're not selling a room, we're not selling a restaurant, we are selling experiences. We have to deal with something or rather we are capitalizing on the FOMO opportunities, the fearing of missing out opportunities. We're capitalizing on that and certainly making hay as long as the sun shines on that. We've learned to do more with less. So we've relooked at manpower levels, service efficiencies, timelines, studying how better things can be done, ensuring that the staff have the right tools of trade to go about doing their work, because these are critical things. I think today it's a digital first approach with technology becoming a core part of involving customer experience and satisfaction. Apps were brought in to today. You can make your reservation, you can check in. There's retail that you can do on your apps. Your phone works as an NFC card reader. So these are things that happen. Even from an employee aspect, WhatsApp web is being used to communicate with guests. Operators are being done away with. Any assistance, call assistance that was at the front office today has moved to WhatsApp web. So technology is being used to a large extent. QR codes is being used across the hotel, whether it's your service directories, house rules, menus. Payment options has gone digital. So again, a digital first approach is what we've seen. Hygiene has become a major factor after COVID, during COVID and after COVID. So real-time hygiene audits that are being done as a brand. We do that. Is geotagged with images and checklists that are done. We have different parameters that is checked across, hierarchies that is spread across and reviewed across the chain. Sustainability today. We already spoke about single-use plastic. So a lot of the hotels have pledged to not use single-use plastic. I think after COVID, doing away with single-use plastic. The other thing is also bottling plants is a trend that's picking up. Not just big hotels, small hotels also are investing into bottling plants because it's available on a CapEx and an OpEx model. E-charging stations are coming up across hotels. Today, OTAs rate hotels based on their sustainability initiatives, and because guests are looking at hotels that invest in sustainability, new streams of revenue, right? Commercial laundry, subscription meals, home delivery of food. These were things that started during COVID, and a lot of brands are capitalizing on that, right? And look what it's done to us. We are having a talk today, which is digital, right? And we've moved online, and certainly everyone's benefiting from that. And I think we can now truly say we're in a fully connected world and better equipped to deal with future crises.
Yeah, true. I was, if you hadn't spoken, I was anyway going to speak about this. I mean, gone are the days when we had any hesitation of coming online. Now, this is par for the course.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, we've actually crossed many a threshold, but I just hope holidays don't go online. All right. So, yeah.
I think we will travel the distance just to experience.
Yes, we have to. Life is not just about such short-term conveniences.
Right.
All right. So, Surajit, I'm coming back to you with your second one. We've all spoken about employees and we've spoken about everything. Let's talk about some of the well-being initiatives for employees. And if you can talk to us about the initiatives which have been undertaken to ensure the health, safety, and overall well-being of your hotel staff.
Right. Thank you, Bhuvanesh. Well-being is a small word, but it's being taken very seriously by today's generation. To start with an example, I was interviewing an executive of my hotel recruitment, and before he came to my office, he has seen the entire back of the house, and he said, "So first thing I want to say is your HR and back of the house is very nicely done." So that's an impression which we create. And today's generation, 60-70% of them, when we meet, they don't look at only the remuneration part. They also look at the overall package with the facilities, with the adaptability, how will he fit in the culture of the place or not. So well-being is definitely a big thing in today's world, and also to reduce down our attrition level in the hotel or in any department, right? So as I spoke in my previous thing also, the first thing we did is 8 weekly offs, and that has done a huge thing in my hotel. HODs were not flexible enough initially, but when they started looking at it in a different way, we planned it in a different way. We worked out a SOP out of it, and now everybody is happy that 8 weekly offs is there, and yes, we will get it. So we are flexible also to give that 2 or 3 at one go when the hotel is not that busy. And then you work for 5 days or 6 days also together if the hotel is busy. And we are the only hotel in Goa. So a lot of people say that, okay, we'll work for Holiday Inn because they are giving 8 weekly offs. That makes a lot of difference. What another initiative which we do is we have something called Healthy Mondays. And that's being done in all IG hotels. And every Monday is a healthy day for us. So the entire food which is served in the cafeteria is a healthy food, from breakfast, morning tea, evening tea, lunch, and dinner. So you will have a lot of salads, and we basically replicate some of the guest buffet for the staff cafeteria. So that's a healthy Monday for us, which has worked very well for us. We also offer off-duty meals to all our employees. That includes the trainees, OJTs, to our colleagues who stay in our hotel accommodation. And we do not provide accommodation to our male employees, but definitely to female employees. But they are allowed to come and have food in the hotel anytime, any day, for any meal. So that's a flexibility which we have in the hotel, and that allows them to, a lot of people, they can't cook at home, and they come back to the cafeteria and have food and just go back because they all stay nearby in a walking distance of 8 to 10 minutes. So that helps. We also have something called half an hour of relaxation time. So we have a training room which when it is not used, somebody who wants to go and take a relax there, or not feeling well, or they can watch a movie. We have a 52-inch TV there, which is touch screen, and they can watch a movie. So it's created a training room which is converted into a nice meditation area and relaxation area, which has bean bags as well to sit and relax. So this is being offered to anybody at any given time. Another thing which we maintain diligently is not working for more than 9 hours, which makes a difference, especially to the female colleagues, and which makes a lot of difference. So we ensure that 6:30 the lights are off, especially in HR, admin, and back of the house, and people leave at 6:30. So 9:30 to 6:30 straight. So these small things definitely made a difference. We also do food festivals in the staff cafeteria. We have every quarter we have a hygiene audit for the kitchen as well as the staff cafeteria. We let the staff use our e-charging stations for free. So if anybody using an e-car or e-scooter, they can charge it for free. We do not charge them. So that's a facility a lot of people they use in today's world, and they don't get time, So plus medical camps and food handler tests and all these things. So these things together is a complete package of well-being, which makes a lot of difference.
So that was very interesting. Sorry, I was muted. Very good to hear. Whatever little or more that we do with our staff and investing in them pays off eventually.
Absolutely.
Right? So, yeah. So, good. So, Dennis, I'm coming to you now. Goa and not talking cuisine and culinary is a crime, right? And so says a vegetarian like me. All right. But so let's get to know from you the role of culinary experiences in elevating the luxury quotient and attracting discerning guests. Because I know of all the people who head to Goa, they don't have formal clothes on their mind. They only have holiday and they switch off. They have booze, they have food, they have party and music on their mind, apart from beaches. So let's talk about culinary.
Yeah, I think, I mean, with so much of increased travel by the Indian guests, they too have been exposed to varied cuisines. And, and also the metros in India are far ahead. And as Ashwani said, Goa today also has become a culinary capital, more so in the north of Goa than the south. The options in north are much more than what in south, though Vishal's hotel has, I think, the only Greek restaurant in South Goa. So I think that's something very unique which is offered in South Goa. And slowly, I think it's becoming so important with the exposure that our Indian guests have got with increased travel, with international connections to Goa. I think it's food has evolved. The amount of exposure that we are getting to food, both through visual media, through the various food, there's so many programs which are going on and exposes people to newer types of techniques and cuisine. I think it's become so important for us to also in hotels to be able to also continually improve on what we are offering to our guests. It's a challenge in hotels, Defs, to retain, our resident guests at the resort because, as you said very rightly, people come to Goa for food and they always want to go outside and check out the restaurants there. But increasingly, I think hotels are trying their best to create their own niche. I heard in one of your previous panel discussions, there's a Peruvian restaurant which has opened up now
Yes.
in North Goa. So similarly, I think many newer hotels and many hotels are trying to see what is it that we can do also, which is different, to be able to have the discerning traveler to be retained within the property. Food is also a lot now about theater. It's all about visual. It's all about presentation. It's all about, creating something very, very unique and very fun in an element. Because food also today is also very social media friendly. So everybody's trying to create a picture or a memory. So what you create, I think our chefs have become artists. And therefore, I think
Very
how
nicely
you
said.
present your food, the uniqueness of your food, the ingredients that you're using. I think a lot of us have now started ensuring that we get a lot of good quality ingredients in our food because guests understand it. It's not only about the gravies; it's about what we can do. People are also looking at healthy options in terms of how you can present food. We've had a lot of guests who have now become vegan. They've got a lot of dietary restrictions. How do you create food which is very interesting for them as well? Has become a very important and critical part of how we can make our discerning guests enjoy that. I think even food in the hotel, whether it's an a la carte menu or a buffet, has to make sure that we incorporate elements of what is in very popular in terms of cuisine. I mean, in the olden days, you will have a certain amount of kind of food in every menu that you would have. But now people are trying to look at different types of cuisine to incorporate in the menu and try and highlight it in a way on the menu which attracts attention for the guests. Restaurants are trying to also focus on special dining, which would again create a very unique experience for our guests. Even for weddings, we try to create some kind of highlights, whether we are doing South Indian style tapas, whether we are doing masala bows or something like that, way just to create uniqueness in the experience for our guests. I think today everybody is focused on seeing what we can do differently and ensure that our guests get a very unique culinary experience while they stay at our resorts.
You very rightly said, you see, that while the guests are out to experiment, right, and they're also very discerning with food. Yes, actually the chefs are artists. They're carving a canvas of food, which should meet our expectations and our experimentation, right? And Goa really is the food capital as far as I'm concerned.
Very true. I think even people are now trying to make Goan food also look much more visually appealing. In terms of there are some fantastic chefs.
You look at the number of breads you guys do, yeah.
Yeah, and no, even the way there are some unique restaurants also who are modernizing the way the Goan food is.
Ashwani will relate to me. for a Delhiite like me, bread used to be double roti, right? Now you see where bread has gone, right? You're talking about millet breads, you're talking about every different kind of bread.
Sure.
And Goa has its own poi, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are different types of bread. I think Ricardo will be the
By
best.
the way, I
person to talk about it.
I get my poi all the way from Goa.
Yeah, you can freeze and keep it for quite some
Oh
time.
yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Dennis.
Pleasure.
Vishal, this is going to be our last one. I've heard about your Greek restaurant, but let's talk about continuous training programs. You and your people are going to be as good as the training that you people receive on job, real life, or focused online. So, tell us of the role of ongoing training programs in keeping staff updated on the latest trends and maintaining operational excellence that who spoke about operational excellence? I think, Surajit or who spoke? No. Yeah, one of you did. So, yeah, let's hear from you.
Yeah, well, learning is a lifelong process. I mean, I personally firmly believe that nothing motivates a team as much as proper structured training does. And I've followed this in all the hotels that I've headed so far. And especially in the current scenario where the young team is not necessarily looking for a very long career in an organization. The question today's youngsters are asking is, what is in it for me? The moment I think we as an organization can answer that and stop and deliver basically what we can do for the youngsters by engaging them and answer this question in our daily trainings and a development for the individual. We can retain the people. Otherwise, the best of our people will leave and move on. Because as far as today's scenario is concerned, most organizations are at par as far as monetary compensation is concerned. Give a few thousand, as far as that is there. So finding good and talented resources is a huge challenge in our industry currently. So the ones that we do find, we must engage with them and give a clear growth strategy and a path for them, not just by sharing it, but more importantly, following it and delivering to the promise that we make to them. For example, we at our hotels have started a clear career progression for all our people, and the associates who join us know exactly where they can be in the next 2, 4, 6 years, and so on and so forth. Our training department works along with the department heads and identifies the training need for each and every individual, and then draws up these individual training plans to get the high potential candidates at par with the latest trends by focusing on their particular individual needs rather than just this is apart from the regular training that we have for the department. It's a planned process, and if done properly, it really enhances the skills of the individuals and the especially the F&B world is changing so fast and dramatically. We have to stay abreast with the latest trends. We also send out team members to other cities on exposure to understand the current trends especially in the feeder markets, and experience the best hotels and restaurants, and come back and implement the good things in our hotels. And we consider this not as an expense but as an investment, because eventually it pays off. Training is the most crucial aspect of operations, in my opinion.
Yeah, thank you. The day we stop learning and we stop seeking knowledge is the day we end.
True.
We were born, we learned from our parents, then from our siblings, then from our our schoolmates, from our teachers. Today, I learn from my children, right? I learn from my juniors. More than half of what I know is brand new. And most of it, not in fact, most of it, all of it is from my juniors, from youngsters, because they're far more equipped to tell us and keep us abreast with trends.
True.
Right? So it's been a wonderful show. I'm happy we did this together and picked on the rich experience of Ashwani, Ricardo, Surajit, Dennis, and you, Vishal. It's been a great show. I'm going to take a few minutes here before I close down. First of all, let me sum up the show today, to conclude this episode. We've gained valuable insights into the daily operations of luxury hotels that you people run in Goa. From managing coastal challenges to embracing sustainable practices, which are extremely key, right? General managers play a pivotal role in shaping hospitality landscape. And I, on behalf of my team and the industry, extend our gratitude, and that includes all of you, to our esteemed guests for sharing their expertise, providing a backstage pass to the operational excellence that defines Goa's hospitality excellence as an industry. We are now going to sign off, and we're coming back tomorrow with a wonderful show again. This time, we've just finished our third show in Goa. We're moving to Gujarat, right? So from one coast to another, and also to a bit of hinterland. Thank you, Ashok. Thank you, Dennis, Ricardo, Surajit, Vishal. I'll also take this opportunity to thank the team BW. They've been wonderful colleagues who actually make these shows possible. And there are a whole lot of them. For all the social media that comes to you, for the show being aired live to you people. And before I go away, thank you, Diversey, and play the video, please. Thank you, gentlemen. Ashwani, thank you. Wonderful show with you today, our first one together, and look for many more. Ricardo, our second one together. Thank you. Surajit, our second one together. Dennis, our first one together. Look forward to many more with all of you. Last but not the least, Vishal, thank you for being there, our first one together. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Ms. Khanna. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.